Right. Confined phase is one of the critical location where there are many people has dying. I can say some things are reported, some accident are not at all reported, but it's yeah, it is keep on going. The death ratio in confined space, not only confined space, like STP, sewage treatment plant and effluent treatment plant, almost they all seems to be different, but the concept wise, the death reason wise, all same. If a person die in confined area and industry, if a person is dies in a ETP, ETP area in another industry, if a person die in a sewage treatment plant for an hotel or an apartment, the intensity remain the same. So definitely we have to, this is not only limited to the industries, so it is also very important for the commercial complex. In fact, nowadays we have a posh apartment, we have a centralized STP plant and some large hotels, and in fact IT industry, multi-storage industries, right? And they have a B1, B2, B3, like basement 3, 4 they are going. So it is very important to address this particular critical area. So this presentation was planned to give a rough idea about solution. We are also going to talk about the risk involved in the confined space, and also we are going to talk about the solution suggested by the many international experts, right? So this is about the thing. So definitely confined space. I hope the people who are attending here, you are already very familiar with the confined space. Hope you are doing some activities also. I think your expectation is to have some different point which will enhance your safety system. Definitely, if it was, if it is helping to you, definitely we are very much happy. So, entry by permit and what are all the legal requirement, that and all will come to later. And before that, why these kind of accidents are happening? See, confined space is very dangerous. Everybody know. I think in nowadays with the latest information technology world and also in the latest upgradation, and knowledge and all is available everywhere in our fingertip. It is available. If you open or if you are in a safety WhatsApp group, definitely about the confined space, almost 80% what I'm going to talk is are available in the domain. But still the accidents are happening. Why? There is a study made by OSHA. It's like international organization, right? So they are having a lot of, they took a lot of accidents and they went to the, what do you call, like what are the reason, root cause of the accident. The result was, so this was made around almost 10 years back. The people are died. In fact, not only the workmen are dying, and there are many supervisors also dying, and in some area, in some extent, like many people, and in fact, like responsible people, like a supervisor or even like an engineer category, manager or assistant manager category also, that people also dying. So when they made the research and when they find out the okay, what is the root cause? So this was the result. 35% of the confined space death. I'm not talking about the accident. It is more of death. It's because of the supervisor's mistake. It may there may be plenty. Let's not blame them, but because they may not understood properly, or they will have their own pressure from other side. So because of the improper guidance of the supervisor, 35% of the deaths are happening. Right. 64% unauthorized entry. They are not supposed to enter, but they want to finish some job. So after the job only the production or whatever the company will work. So that unauthorized entry is 64%, and construction and wastewater. So the water, wherever the sewage water or water treatment plant, wherever 66% happened at a wastewater or that water treatment plant and construction. 78% is a little shocking, is oxygen deficiency and IDLH level. So we are going to talk about what is oxygen deficiency and IDLH level, how it affect a person in the confined space, right? And this is one part of the causes. There are other part of the causes. If you see, it may be very simple to listen, but that is the reality. Almost 95% has happened. The people has died because of not education or poor education. No confined space training. The people who enter in the confined space, they must be trained, they must be competent. In fact, in our Indian Factory Act also says section 41A, the person should be a competent person. Competent person is not only the certification or whatever the papers, and he should be really trained to enter in the confined space. So 95% it is death because of the improper training or no training. In fact, there are many accidents. I will quote some. There was one hotel near North Madras. They were so they need a customer. The customer will start coming from 6:30 onwards morning. So what they did, they want to clear their sewage treatment plant. So they called some laborers, some the blue collars worker at the early morning around 5:30. Again, there was a lot of scenes behind that. I will just narrate the incident only. Before customer come to the hotel, they have to clear the sewage treatment things. So what they did on 5:30, 6 o'clock, right? They are not that much alert to do the work. Suddenly they open the sewage treatment, they enter the water, the tubes to take out the sewages, but suddenly one poisonous gas attacked them and they died. So this kind of thing. So they don't know what to do. They are very much skilled on their work, how to open the manhole, how to put the hose and all, but they are not aware about the hazards. In fact, it happened to many industries also. Since the people are attending from industry, I don't want to quote any industry in an open way. So that is why this kind of similar. And there are another industry, one person working inside the confined space. The outside person who has attendant or supervisor, he waiting for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and he never come. And again, he want to check, ensure. He again went to check. The supervisor went inside to check the workman. Again, he is also not come for another half an hour, 1 hour. And during lunchtime, that people are searching. Similarly, that one incident happened in our Tamil Nadu. Almost 8 people died. One person went inside, he is not come back. Another person went inside, he also not come back. So there are many things because of the poor understanding of the confined space. And 100% is no or inadequate ventilation. The ventilation is very important. We will discuss little further. And 100% no proper monitoring. No instrument at the site. There is no monitoring for oxygen. There is no monitoring for combustible gases or other toxic gases. So these are the major causes, 7 causes, and the contribution for happening for the confined space death happen. Right. So let's understand what is about the definition. In case if you have any clarification, please keep a post, sir, or you can make a note. At the end, we will definitely discuss. Internationally, OSA classifies the definition of confined space. First thing is, it is larger space a person can enter. It's a confined space. It should be a big size, around a 6 feet or 7 feet person. His off body or 3/4 of body should enter into the confined space. Large space for a person to enter. That is the first one. Second, it is limited or restricted entry and exit. It is not an easy way to walk in and walk out. It should not be. So even though it is in the process, it is not having for a regular movements. Again, not designed for a continuous operation. So there are 3 clear definitions about confined space. Large space for a person, limited and restricted entry and exit, and it is not designed for continuous operation like work, shop floor or office and all, right? So definition of confined space is very clear. Let's see some example. So here I am showing 2 pictures. So 2 are manhole, not manhole. One is a manhole, other is a viewpoint. If you see the left side corner one is confined space because it meets all the categories. It is large enough, a person can enter inside. There are steps provided, and since it is a manhole with a circular around 1.5 feet or 2 feet dia, so it is limited to entry and exit, and no one is going to work inside the plant. If you see the right side picture, it is like a view or it's like a process reactor. Here the person can't enter inside, and it is not meeting the criteria. So like that we can identify in our industry. So which is confined space, which is not at all. And in the confined space also there are 2 categories: permit required confined space, non-permit. See, now the standards are very clear. We are at par with the global community, global standard. But if we implement all the things to the entire confined space, so-called what we assume as a confined space, so then the process will be very difficult because there is not all the confined space is having the all hazardous. So they divide into 2: permit required confined space and non-permit required confined space, right? So that is the things. So what is the criteria for permit required confined space? It is very clear. You see this type of the left one is crawl space under a building. It is a permit required because the risk intensity is more. If you see the right side is like a lift room. That lift room, right? Or that below the lift they will be a lift bed. Okay. So that is a non-permit required confined space. So what are all the things as permit required confined space qualities, or what are all the criteria? Permit required means highly dangerous. what are the death we saw, no, that 95%, 65%. Okay. So, it contains the potential to have a hazardous atmosphere. So, what all the hazards are? Okay, that atmosphere means it may kill a person. That is hazardous atmosphere. We will discuss a little bit more. And contains material potential for inhalation. The person can get trapped inside. The person who enter in the confined space called the entrant, and they may get auspicious. Okay, that is oxygen may be deficiency, and there may be other serious hazards. So where there is a health hazard and toxic and flammable, all other some insects like a snake or cobra, something it may get inside. That is called a permit required confined space. So these are the examples: tunnels, wells, manholes, other cold storage, these kind of tanks. So these are permit required confined space. Means there is a risk for life and health, not only for the person, for the other person also. And there are non-permit confined space means it does not have that much like hazard potential, but we need to have some minimum safety requirement. It will not make a person to die. It is not a fatal hazard. So that is non-permit confined space, like this open pit, right? Or false ceiling. So where we go inside the false ceiling and work, that is also confined. Confined means it is completely covered, but it does not have the health hazard to the extent a person can die. Again, like a large electrical panel, I'm just showing for an example. So even though it is confined and surrounded and closed by all the directions, but it is not highly dangerous for the person health. So this is called non-permit required, means there is no much monitoring is required with a minimum arrangement safety setup, and we can enter. That is what. Okay. Now this is very critical question. I hope till now you are very clear. What we understood is the confined space. What are the types of confined space we understood. Now this is the question: what is meant by confined space entry? Whether the person near or inside. I'm going to show three pictures, so which will make very clear. This is the one. A person enter in the that confined space. He is getting down for someone. Second, the person is not entered fully. Only his half body entered in the confined space. Okay. Then person is not entering into confined space, but he just checking his face enter into the manhole top. So which one is confined space entry? First one, second one, or the third one? So very clear, as per standard, all three should be considered as a confined space entry, because all are vulnerable to get injured in case of permit required confined space. So if a person enter fully, if a person enter off, if the breathing zone of a person, so which is on the opening of manhole, is also considered as a confined space entry. So when our people, when our team, when they have such a work, definitely what is the protocol required for the first and the person, first person, same needs to be applied for all the people. Rest of, right? So this is the clarity about confined space entry. Now let's watch one video, and hope you can watch the video very clearly. There is not much audio, but you just watch the scenario. Most of the confined space accidents are following a similar pattern. Okay, right? I'm going to play the video. Please have a look. So this is typical things happened in almost all. So that's what. So this is a similar pattern where a person will go and without any other protection, the other person will go. So the confined space having much more hazards and it is associated with the risk. See again in our nearby Ranipet is one of the critical incident where that is not a real confined space, that is a ETP area, but the people who are taking rest. Okay, so in the rest room, that people who are taking rest, suddenly the effluent treatment tank, it got broken, the wall is damaged. I mean, it is suddenly broken at the midnight at 2:30. So almost 9 people has died because that released a lot of toxic vapor, and it is leather and all it has, right. It was a big news, but after that lot of lesson was there. But it is very important that is not person has not entered inside, but they are taking rest. But suddenly the tank has broken. That the ATP tank has broken. So the people has died. So the confined space and all the similar area, ATP, STP, all having very life-threatening hazards and associated with risk. Let's see one by one for another 15 to 20 minutes, and after that we go for what is the suggested solutions. Right? Yeah. The first one is oxygen deficiencies. That is a high potential a person can die. Why and how the oxygen deficiency is happening? It is displacement of oxygen. See, inside the confined space, if there is any gases already created, which is density is more, it will displace the oxygen. Okay, and microbial action. So inside the confined space, there may be some small microorganism. So with their creation, and that is also create some sort of gases, or it will consume the oxygen, or it will displace the oxygen. Oxidization of the metals, and sometimes inside that is confined space or any area which was closed for a longer time, it will have its own gas formation, like methane gas or anything like a compression, like combustion gas, it will be there. Sometime oxygen will get absorbed. So oxygen deficiency is one of the biggest hazard in confined space. So that is killing people like anything. So here the problem is the oxygen may be in the surface level. See, there are many olden techniques was there to check the oxygen, like sending a small frog inside the confined space, or sending the small chicken inside the confined space, where if the frog or the chicken, if they live, then definitely there is oxygen. But that was the olden techniques, traditional. I mean, the traditional techniques was followed around 30 years, 40 years back. But now the latest instrument and lot of technology that updation has come now. But why the oxygen deficiency we need to take very care is on the surface, on top of the confined space, it may look like 21% or 22% oxygen. See, the minimum required oxygen for a person to stable to work is 19.5%. When the person is entering inside the confined space, slowly he's went into the deep depth of the confined space. Slowly he's getting down in the confined space. Level of oxygen will come down. So that is why people are not able to live, and people are dying. Right? So these are the things. Now we watch this video, right? The picture. There the 21% of that oxygen, the person will be normal. He can work, perform. When it is crossing reduced to 18%, the area temperature will get increased, and he will not be comfortable. His concentration will get disturbed. So he may need more air, or that ventilation may require. When it is reduced to 16 to 12%, that breath rate will increase. The person will increase like this. The per minute breath rate will go up to 25, and naturally when the breath increase, heartbeat also will go, right? So that is the problem. So and the person will not be stable, and below 14 to 9%, he will get headache, nausea, like vomiting kind of sensation, and he will not at all comfortable. And around less than 6%, the person may die. Right? So this is the impact of oxygen deficiency on the person body. Right? So to be stable, we need a minimum 19.5% oxygen. Okay? So that is the oxygen deficiency is one of the assaults at confined space. When we are planning solution for that, we will also planning solution. Other thing is, if the oxygen is increasing also, that is also dangerous. Okay? It is like oxygen deficiency. It is invisible, it is silent. It can create a physical hazard, it can create a health hazard also. Right? And how an accident deficiency can happen? Already confined space is covered, and due to the microbial oxygen or whatever the other accidents, oxygen will get absorbed. Then how come an oxygen enrichment can happen? It is because of the wrong ventilation. When we want to ventilate, we need to pump fresh air only to the confined area. But instead of fresh air, if you use oxygen, that area will become oxygen okay, that enrichment area. If sudden small spark or some temperature increase, it can create an explosion. That is a physical one. And what will it likely to lead to the person also? The person to the larger extent, if the 100% oxygen for a normal person, it will increase the respiratory rate again. And like just imagine the person neurons will get more oxygen, so it work in a rapid way. So the person will not be stable to work in it. So one, it will create a fire and explosion. Other thing, it will also disturb the person regular activities, stable activity. So the oxygen enrichment.
Hello?
Hello, there is no audio to hear. So no audio, sir. So you have no audio, sir. You have muted, sir. Excuse me, sir.
We are not able to hear voice.
So we are not able to hear you.
Hello, we are not able to hear.
Is it okay now?
Sir,
It's okay,
please
sir.
go to the previous
Yes.
slides.
Yeah, I'm going to share that slide now.
You can wake up.
So you
Can we continue, sir?
sir, you go through the oxygen enrichment. You explained
Okay. So you want to repeat the oxygen? Yeah. Yes.
enrichment.
Enrichment. Yes, I'll come to this. I will share the slide again so that we'll get the continue. Yeah. Oxygen enrichment. I hope oxygen deficiency is very clear. That is a lack of oxygen. Oxygen enrichment is sudden increase of oxygen level in confined space. So how it will increase? The oxygen enrichment increase can have it will not happen naturally if the ventilation is not done in a wrong way. Like if we ventilate the confined space with oxygen. Okay, so what will happen? The entire confined space, if it is filled with oxygen, initially it may be comfortable for a person, but later stage it will not be comfortable. What will happen to the person? The more amount of oxygen, the 100% oxygen, when it enters to a person body, the neurons and cells will be hyperactive, right? So that the person will not be stable to take action. He can't speak properly and he can't do any action properly. If it reaches 100%, the person will die. Again, I'm talking about a normal person. Normal person, stable person with 100% oxygen, he may die. The brain death will happen. Like there was one movie called Lucy. Lucy, there was a French movie. It is actually a different genre, but similar to that, when all the brain cells are activated, what will become the problem? So that was the movie. That is similar to that. If someone has watched the movie, we can just relate to that. That is hyperactive for the person. What will happen to the atmosphere? When the oxygen enrichment happen, if there was a small spark, the spark will become 10 times. Okay, and in case of any flammable liquids or fluid, somebody taken petrol or something flammable gas inside, the flammable liquid inside for some other reason, when the oxygen atmosphere is 100%, it can create an explosion. Even though, see, for example, for welding, so welding, so they will create, so they do arc welding for that matter. In the normal welding rod, in the normal atmosphere, if it takes 10 minutes to burn, in the oxygen enrichment atmosphere, that the welding rod itself, if they continue the operation, that will continue to burn within 2 to 3 minutes. Again, simple, I will tell you a simple example, like burning candle. If a candle is burning for 5 minutes, normally around a 6-inch, okay, the candle. But in the oxygen enrichment atmosphere, instead of 5 minutes, it will burn, it will complete its burn around 30 seconds or 1 minute. So that is the rate of combustion. The combustion speed will get increased. So that is the problem with the oxygen enrichment area. But this is not normally, this will not happen naturally when the ventilation is done in an improper way with the 100% oxygen. So that time there is a possibility of oxygen okay, that enrichment can happen, right? Okay. So this is the oxygen level, oxygen play with our body and the physical also. 19.5% is the minimum oxygen required to perform a task. Again, 21% is a normal, that is atmosphere percentage contribution. Up to 23 it is okay. Up to 25 it will increase the risk of fire, and 100% it will damage the brain. When it is reduced also, around 16% breathing will be high, and 12% the person will go unconscious, and below 12% they may reach coma stage. So that is the problem of oxygen enrichment and deficiency. Hope now it is very clear. Now let's move to the flammable gases. If you have any queries in that oxygen, then we will discuss at the end. And the flammable gases may get accumulated in confined space. Methane, propane, acetylene, depends on the process. Okay, if there is some areas processing some chemical, okay, that time hydrogen may get produced. Again, if it is a petrochemical industry, wherever the confined space, methane will be the byproduct, or methane will be the natural formation. So these are the flammable gases in confined space. What is the problem with the flammable gases? So there are some flammable gases which is less density, which will be on the top. There are some flammable gases or even toxic gases which will be high density, which will settle down. So one, there is a fire of risk or explosion, and other problem is this flammable gases, when it expand its size, it replaces the oxygen. So that is the another problem. Okay. And how it can get fire, how it can catch fire. There is a lower explosive limit. I hope many of you are aware of it. It is a minimum concentration a combustible gas. If the flammable gases level, it reaches the percentage where it can ignite a fire with a heat source. Let's understand a little bit in the next slide. So this is the explosive atmosphere, right? Minimum lower explosive limit means that a person should not work prohibited. There may be a risk of fire. But if there is a high a limit also, like it's called upper explosive limit. Beyond the upper explosive limit, also fire will not take place because it required another parameters. So lower explosive limit is the first limit, minimum limit where fire or explosion can happen, up to upper explosive limit. So what the gas detector and other thing will do, 10% of the LEL, it will give the alarm. So the person has to stop the work and come out. We will see at the end in the solution part. So flammable gas also one of the thread in a confined space. It should be maintained in the lower explosive limit, less than lower explosive limit, right? So that is the understanding. And apart from the oxygen deficiency and flammable gases, there are some toxic chemicals. Toxic chemicals, first one is hydrogen sulfide and carbon monoxide, and it will be in their different concentration. To take it normal simple way, all toxic chemical or toxic gases, they are having 3 different levels. In the first level, we can able to sense the chemical, means we will get a smell. So that is called odor threshold. There is no harm about it. A person can work without protection for one shift, 8 hours. Second level, when it has reaches threshold limit value, TLV. So when it has reaches TLV, definitely right protective equipment like a respirator or other protective equipment is required. When it crosses the TLV, so below TLV, there is no much protection required. That is the second level, and above TLV, definitely protection is required. And the third level is IDLX level, that is immediately dangerous to life and health, mean the person will die. So here in confined space, the problem is, see that confined space depth of 8 feet, or you can say why 8 feet, 15 feet. so that person can enter, full body can enter. When the initial surface, the toxic gas level will be very less. So even if they measure at the 15 feet confined space vessel, if they take media that measurement even up to 13 feet, you just for a namesake you take the up to 13 feet, there was no noticeable toxic gases or they are within the limit. But if there is a sediment, if there is some other sediment or semi-solid liquid or something at the bottom like a sediment, if the sediment has disturbed means it will immediately emit or it will immediately release the gases or vapors or toxic fumes which will be more than idealized. So that is the problem. Right, so that is the problem with the toxic confined research market. See, like a sewage, why people are dying at a drainage and sewage? On the top, it look like normal. When they go down and they will feel little heat, they will adjust. When they go down, again down, they will get some different discomfort, they will adjust. When they touches the water and when they disturb the water, when they mix the water, suddenly the toxic gases come. So the person will not prepare for that, the person will die. So that is a toxic chemical atmosphere at a confined space, right? And one such chemical, one such toxic gas is hydrogen sulfide. In fact, many of the area, our manual scavengers, now there are latest technology has come, they are using tripod and winch. In fact, once around 8-9 years back, there was a government announced the entire that is manual scavengers, whoever are clearing the sewage treatment, the sewage cleaning, they have to wear the proper protection equipment. In fact, in Tamil Nadu, all the district they have implemented. So I don't know after that what happened. They, in fact, they use the electronic gas monitor. They use the advanced breathing system. There was many things because the many people has died due to the hydrogen sulfide inhalation. Now let's understand a little bit what is in the hydrogen sulfide. So the very simple hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide will be there everywhere, even in our kitchen waste and our food waste. So there is a popular example to understand the hydrogen sulfide. When you are going for outstation for a week, so you are closing your house, you are closing all doors and windows, and you go for a vacation or whatever the visit. So 1 week. After 1 week, if you come back to your home and you open the door, you will feel some different kind of odor. That may be creation of hydrogen sulfide. If the kitchen waste, if the food waste is not disposed properly, that will create hydrogen sulfide, right? So that is the problem. So at a small stage, it will not create things, but when it is increasing, it will create a problem. When the level of hydrogen sulfide increase, that will create lot of issues. Now let's narrate the another scene of the manual scavengers and why the people are dying in a sewage treatment plant. They want to enter inside and they want to clean the sewage treatment. They want to avoid the bad smell. So what they use? They are supposed to wear the proper filter respirator. In fact, to filter the sewage treatment plant smell, there are advanced technology respirators are available with the affordable price that will work. But what the that normally non-professionally what they do, they will take some liquor, alcohol they will take. Why? The alcohol will filter the smell. It will filter the sewage treatment smell and it will also filter the hydrogen sulfide smell. So that is the problem. It's not only that when the hydrogen sulfide increased to 30 ppm, the smell senses so its odor will be very strong. When it crosses the 30 ppm, the person, even a stable person, normal person will not feel the smell. Loss of smell will be there. Okay, means they can't sense. More than 100 ppm, even if the hydrogen sulfide presence also, so it will not give an indication to the person because he may lose the smell. And around 200 ppm, there will be a red eyes and coughing and the person will get more disturbed. More than 600 ppm, the person will go unconscious within 30 minutes. So these all happen inside the confined space. So that is the problem. Okay, when it has crossed it is 1000 ppm, so instant collapse. When it has crossed 2000 ppm, the person will be die in a minute. When it crossed 5000 ppm, so which is not in the slide, when the hydrogen sulfide concentration increased to 5000 ppm, it will catch fire. So there is other risk also at hydrogen sulfide. So hydrogen sulfide initially look like normal, like rotten egg smell. So which will not disturb, but that will not disturb a person like killing a person. When it crosses 100 ppm, the person will not able to smell the hydrogen sulfide presence. When it is beyond 600, then there is it is risk for life. When it crosses 5000 ppm, it can catch fire. So this is the problem with the hydrogen sulfide. So similarly, there are other toxic gases, carbon monoxide, right? Carbon monoxide also one of the natural creation of the confined space. Again, it will also displace the oxygen. The problem with the CO, the carbon monoxide, we know very well. There is no smell for that, and we can't able to recognize it, the presence of carbon monoxide. So what will happen if a person is go and continuously getting 3 attacks, right? It has oxygen deficiency, toxic gases, and also there is a temperature increase inside the okay, inside the car, that is the confined space. So the person will collapse immediately. Okay. Again, these are the major hazards. So depends on your operation, depends on your industry. The percentage of toxic gases will be different, right? So the IDLH of carbon monoxide is 1200. At minimum level is 35 ppm. If it is more than 35 ppm or 200 ppm, so that is the risk for the person. Right. Now this is a very important slide. You need to understand how the toxic and flammable gases will be layered in the confined space. Okay. So methane is lightweight, ammonia is lightweight, so which will always in the top, so which is the vapor density. The density is less than 1%, and H2S and carbon monoxide and gasoline other fuels are will be at it is heavier than air, so which is more than 1. So they settle it down. So whenever we have to take a measurement gas reduction, we have to check in all the level. So this is the problem. This is the real scenario of the confined space. So the lighter gas will accumulate on the top, and heavier gas will accumulate on the bottom. So we have to check the entire confined space throughout the length. And there are other hazard like engulfment hazard, where a person get a trap, right? It's like a silos, right? So in silos, if a person entered in case of any platform, in case of any weak platform, something, so the person may get engulfed in the confined space, right? Then again to locate the person itself become a very much challenge that people can't escape and they will die also. So this is also another hazard. And electrical excess heat, and there may be some insects also like snakes or cobra may be inside. So these are the other hazard in the confined space. Right. So these are all the killing factors, right? So clear. I hope I made it very clear about the hazards and risk associated with the confined space. Now we need to go for a solution. How we have to prepare ourselves, and how I should make a plan to enter into my confined space, and how I can send a person safely and welcome the person back safely. Entry and exit should be safely. There are many standard, and popularly is OSHA 146 is the permit required confined space standard, right? So it says very clearly, and also our Indian Factory Act section 14A, it also says a lot of point. So I just merged both the OSHA's and Indian Factory Act section 41. You can go and check it out. So this suggesting is establish the procedures and practice always. It's like a work permit system. So definitely we do that. So without work permit, we will not allow a person to enter. And we have to train the employee. So we have to train the employee in 3 levels. So I will share you what are the 3 levels. And provide record equipment. This is very important. If the person may be competent, knowledge-wise, he is perfect. If you give a question paper, he will score 100 out of 100. That is not a thing, but he should be able to use the equipment competently. To use the equipment, we have to provide the right equipment. And during the operation, we have to control the assaults also. So these are the basic requirement, general requirement so as per OSHA, and in fact our factory also says that. Risk assessment also very important. So ensure procedures and equipment necessary, and protect the entrant from external hazard, and establish the procedure. Then employee must provide what are all the facilities we have to provide. Is testing and monitoring, right? So means testing and monitoring means the toxic gases, oxygen and flammable. Ventilation, proper ventilation. Right? There is a forced ventilation, positive ventilation, negative ventilation we will see. Communication device, if someone is inside, in case something happened to him, and how he will communicate outside. So that is also a challenge. Lighting, okay, proper lighting. And barricade the place, other people should not enter. Right PPE, the person who enter inside should have one PPE. The person who monitoring from the outside should have another kind of PPE. So other PPE, and rescue also very important. Give something. Sir, I provided everything. I trained the person, I gave all the equipment, but in case if something goes wrong, how to rescue the person? In fact, in the recent development, there are rescue teams are available. If you are doing some of the confined space work in your industry, you need not worry. You can call the rescue team. If the confined was taking 2-3 days, the entire rescue team will be there at your factory. In case something suddenly happened, the rescue team will go inside and save our workers. So that much competent people are there available. Even in Chennai also the people are available. So we can discuss at the end. Okay. So all the standard, and there are NEA standard, all the standard says the process should be very clear, safety process. What are the safety process? If the standards is giving a lot of points, I just made all the point in a simple way. To make a confined space entry as a safe process, there are 3 points is required. Control the entry movement, reduce the hazard, and proper planning for entry and exit. What it is? And how to control the life risk. We have to prevent the employee entry unnecessarily, right? And how to prevent? Put a sign, put a proper door and lock, even implement a lockout tagout system. So this way will help unauthorized entry. You saw the causes for accident, right? 64% of the death happened because of the unauthorized entry into the confined space. How to reduce the hazard? Second, and before entry and after entry. To reduce the hazard, ventilation is very important and atmospheric monitor is very important. See, here the challenge comes, how to ventilate my area. So definitely natural ventilation will help. There is a called a natural ventilation, vertical ventilation. And there will be a practice. Now I think many industries are improved. So there will be a practice like a manhole cleaning. They will open the manhole for 48 hours, 2 days or 1 day. So they will open the manhole hole for 1 day, for example. While considering there will be a natural air will be going inside, and whatever the toxic or other gases will get ventilated. And after 1 day or 2 day I can send a person inside. So that is natural ventilation will not work for a horizontal. Natural ventilation is okay, but when it will work like silo, like a vertical, you have to open on the top one, and we have to open 2-3 areas and the side and middle. So that is air will go from horizontal and it will turn like a centrifugal. It will go to vertical. So the ventilation will happen. Ventilation means, what is the meaning of definition of ventilation? Fresh air should go inside, and from inside the hazardous air should go outside. That is called ventilation. The proper inlet and proper outlet. So it is possible only by the forced ventilation, means like a blower. So natural ventilation will not be the right solution for to reduce the hazard. Again, we have to check, we have to ensure whether we have ventilated properly. So we have to monitor the atmosphere, right? So atmosphere monitoring also very important. Then personal protective equipment. So in spite of doing ventilation and monitoring, PP is very important, right? So I hope you are very clear with the slide how to reduce the hazard. Then what are the other planning we have to do? We have to plan for a proper manpower, control equipment, safety equipment, rescue equipment, and medical emergency. Again, it is very simple, so you can understand very clearly. Manpower, we have to plan for a 3 type of manpower. Entrant, who is physically enter into the confined space, and he must be trained on the all the about the hazards and how to use the PP properly. In case of any problem, how to respond. This is the first person. Second person is attendant, who will watch the entrant. Means he has to frequently communicate with the person, and he should aware about the location, that environment, and he should know what should be the next protocol, like a communication matrix, and he must be aware. And the last one is entry supervisor. The supervisor will handle the overall operation, and he is responsible to get permit. He is responsible to provide the safety system, and he can take additional responsibility of getting the rescue, right? So risk assessment and ensuring a proper safer place. So all like a paper documentation is the entry supervisor is responsible. Apart from this, you can have a risk assessment team and safety team. That's all. So it is up to you. Depends on your industry. Definitely, you will be having many things. That's good. So typically, 3 manpowers are required for entry. And if the work is going for 1 day, entry supervisor has to visit frequently to check whether the process is going as per the system. Okay. Right. Right. So other like a control equipment, we need to provide a barricades. So this is called a blower. And also sometime if that inside having some compressor air or some pneumatic operation, like a kinetic operation, some machines are blower, we have to use lockout tagout to reduce to mute all the energy. So these are control equipment. Okay, so this is an example. Depends on your area, you can plan. Okay, So here ventilation means forcing fresh air inside. So it is the right one. It has got a positive pressure ventilation. So it will go inside with the pressure. It will mix all the gases, whatever the air, and with the other hole it will send the air out. So the inside a confined space, normally the ventilation will be maintained with the like proper oxygen. Other thing is it will also reduce the temperature. So again, ventilation is not only before the work, during the work also we have to ventilate. Other called extraction. Extraction means we are putting negative method. We are extracting, we are pulling the air from the confined space. So this is not an effective method because in between the confined space, the toxic gas may get trapped like corner. Okay, so the contaminated air will not be removed 100%. So extraction is not a right method, only ventilation. Here the questions comes. Many people are asking me whenever I go for a training or audit or consulting, how many times I have to ventilate? Means ventilation is a continuous process, but before sending the person inside, there is some best practice. With my knowledge, the standard OSHAs and all, they are not again very specific on it, but there are some best practice followed by an industry says recommending ventilation means from 6 times to 20 times. Again, we will discuss later about calculating this. So, non-technically to say, if there is a 1000 cubic feet tank, so we have to fill 1000 cubic feet tank for 6 times. Means 6 cubic feet air should go inside the tank and it should maintain the proper ventilation. After that only we need to send a person to work. So that is 6 to 20 times. Depends on the risk area. If it is chemical, pharmaceutical industry, 6 times may not be enough. Maybe 10 or 15. Right? So the circulation of air should be minimum 6 times of the confined space capacity. Right? Clear? So means like say if we are having 1000 cubic feet tank. We are having a blower which is deliver 1 hour of 1000 cubic feet. Right? So 1000 cubic feet is the capacity. To fill the 1000 cubic feet tank, we have to run the motor or blower for 1 hour. Means one time to fill the tank, it will take 1 hour. So we have to run the blower for 6 hours. So if it is taking 5 minutes to fill the tank, if it is taking 5 minutes, so then we have to run the blower for 30 minutes. So that is a rough idea, not technically, roughly 6 times displacement. Right? Okay. And monitoring system. Again, for entrant who is going inside, we have to provide oxygen monitoring. And before attendant who is and before sending the person, we have to monitor 4 gases, multi-gas detector. So we have to use this kind of gas monitor. Now there are a lot of advancement has come. So which will give alarm, low alarm and high alarm. See if you are having the 4 gas, which will monitor oxygen, carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, and it is flammable gases. Low alarm, it will give BP. And high alarm is like a fire siren, it will rise. Okay. So the person has to come out immediately. So these are the alarm system. Okay. Here is the important things. Normally the gas detector will get positions on the hip area. So this is the ideal place to position the gas detector. Right? I think someone has unmuted the mics. Team, please mute your mic so that other will not get disturbed. And sir, stay focused on this slide. So this is the right position for the multi-gas or single gas detector. So what it actually tells, whatever the gas when it is coming to the breathing zone, it should give alarm. Right? And some people will say, so if I am using that gas detector near to gas like a hip belt, so I will get alarm little early. But we can't predict that. Right? So without the proper respirator, we will not go inside. But this is the ideal position to place the gas detector. You should be near to the chest. Okay? Right. So any doubt, we'll discuss at the end. And protective equipment, of course, for an entrant, for a person going inside should be a different, and for outside should be a different PPE. And this is called a warning equipment, right? Like a megaphone. So this is for the outside person, attendant, hand siren. And right side, what you are seeing is called a no motion sensor. So we have to fix this detector to the person who is entering inside. In case inside, if he is completely fainted, if he is totally unconscious, if there is no movement in his body for 20 seconds, it will give a high alarm around 140 decibels. So are you getting my point? If there is no motion, there is no movement in the person's body, So it sends it and it will give a signal. So the person will be on the outside, that is called attendant. The attendant will take next action. So these kind of warning and safety equipment we can have. And in case some confined space, we have to use the flame proof torch, because inside there may be a formation of flammable gases, but this all required along with the continuous ventilation. Nowhere in the mid of the work we should stop ventilation. It is very important, right? And rescue planning, right, sir? So rescue planning like a tripod or winch or cantilever. So these kind of things. And finally, medical preparedness. In case something went wrong, if a person is rescued, what we should do? So we have to give oxygen, we have to give defibrillation, or we have to give CPR. Ambulance should be ready. In case if it is critical work, definitely we have to prepare with the ambulance and other things. So to make it summarize how to make a safe protocol of entry and exit of confined space, first we have to barricade the area so that we will limit the entry. Then we have to monitor the area with the proper gas monitoring devices. So when it is okay, then we have to ventilate the area. First we have to ventilate 6 times. After that we have to send the person. After the person is went inside also, we have to continue the ventilation. Then we should send the people with the proper PPE and emergency equipment. Like emergency equipment means here it is alerting equipment, like no motion sensor. Then lifting, lowering rescue devices and medical emergency. So this all I just combined all the standards and I just made it as simple things. Right? If you need more detail, you can go and refer the standard. Okay. So this is the confined space solution, sir, like on how to encounter the confined space work. Right? Yes. So let me check the questions. Anything is there? So with that, we are in the end of the presentation. Hope you got clear idea about what is the confined space is all about, and what are all the other risk or the hazard and risk associated with the confined space, and what is the right protocol to enter.